character design, ambiance, jump scares.
She is such a bad bitch though. I will f the shit out of that robot, man. I'm not even.
You know what? All that. All those words that I just said right there, they all describe what Five Nights at Freddy's is, and it is a horror game. Today we're gonna talk about which Five Nights at Freddy's game is the scariest. Today I'm not gonna be talking about like the more like modern Five Nights at Freddy's games, including Security Breach, Into the Pit, and Secret of the Mimic. The reason for this is because I haven't really played the other ones that much. But I will be talking about like the first 6 games: Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, 4, Sister Location, Pizzeria Simulator, Ultimate Custom Night, and then I will be including Help Wanted as well. And to be completely honest, the games that I just mentioned, I believe those encapsulate the true horror of the Five Nights at Freddy's formula. I think that actually staying in like one spot and having to manage all these monsters coming at you, I think that is the true horror of Five Nights at Freddy's, so that's the only reason why I'm going to be talking about those games. If you're new here, my name's Caliste. I make Five Nights at Freddy's videos, horror videos, gaming videos. I do a little bit of everything. Thank you guys so much for 5,000 subscribers. We're on the way to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, hopefully. I think I'm just going to be talking about the least scary game of the entire bunch that I mentioned. To be completely transparent with you guys, I think the least scary game out of the entire bunch so far is probably, I think I would have to give it a Pizzeria Simulator. I don't know. I'm not gonna say character design, but let's say like, you know, we have Scrap Baby, Lefty, Molten Freddy, Afton. You know, all these characters look amazing. One thing that really kills it for me in the true essence of horror is the jump scares. They're very rushed. I did make a video ranking all the jump scares, so I'm not gonna go too into depth on that part. Also, I just do want to say the environment is kind of lackluster. We are sitting in one room. We don't have a lot of visibility of where the animatronics are, which I believe does add to the horror. There's no cameras. We just have audio lures and motion detectors. And we're just trying to complete these tasks as soon as possible so we can get the fuck out of there, right? I think for me, the entire buildup of doing the tasks, you know, shutting the ventilation down and looking down the hallway vents, it's cool, but it's not enough for me. If we were able to look down these vents and like see these animatronics like slowly move away, or see like, you know, some more motion, I think that would make the game a whole lot scarier. But when we turn off the AC and we're listening and we're looking down the vents, we don't get any feedback about anything. And sure, the jump scare comes at you like out of the blue, but it's not that scary. I just wish we got to see a little bit more. But overall, the soundtrack for Pizzeria Simulator is my favorite soundtrack in all the Find the Phrase games. I use it literally all the time in all my videos. So it's a great game, but when I had to rank it by scariness, I would have to put it at the bottom. And then for my next game, it's not too much of a surprise as well. I'm gonna put it to Ultimate Custom Night. The thing I do like about this game is how chaotic it is. The reason why Ultimate Custom Night is such like is one of the fan favorites is because of how many animatronics you have to deal with and all these different challenges that you have to keep in mind at all times. But on that note, the same struggle that Pizzeria Simulator had is the same thing that's happening in Ultimate Custom Night. The jump scares are kind of ass, you feel me? Like I'm throwing some jump scares on screen. I mean, look at the puppet's jump scare. That's nothing compared to the puppet jump scare for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. There's no comparison at all. All it is just a PNG, you know, shaking violently. The environment's pretty cool, I would say. You do get a lot of visibility on where a lot of the animatronics are. Some of the animatronics don't even pop up on cameras. There's something very eerie about getting into Ultimate Custom Night and not having any animatronics selected, and you go in and you just like feel how eerie it is, right? But if you have no animatronics in the building in Pizzeria Simulator and you're just sitting there doing your work, I would feel like it's not really scary. When you're in Ultimate Custom Night and the more you play, the more animatronics you add, it just feels so odd when you're sitting there and there's no one there. It feels like kind of a liminal space, which I mean, technically it is. It's William Afton's hell. At the end of the day, it is a very scary game, but it's not as scary as some of the others that we have coming up in the list. And then for my next game I'm gonna put, it's gonna be a little bit of a controversial take. This is my personal favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game in the entire franchise. If you've been here, you know what I'm talking about. I'm putting Five Nights at Freddy's 2 there. I don't know if it's because I played it so much, but here's one thing I will say. Respectfully, I am not scared of this. Bro, Toy Chica? Nah, not at all. There's no way I will be scared of that.
Ooh, I'm about to die.
Speaking of the entire, all the animatronic character designs, I will say the withered animatronics, in my opinion, the scariest animatronics in the entire series. Even more so than Five Nights at Freddy's 4 Nightmare animatronics. They just have like a very nice uncanniness to them. But on the contrast of that, you have the toy animatronics. So you have the withered animatronics over here, then you have the toy animatronics over here. These guys, you're telling me that I'm supposed to be scared of these things? They're very plasticky, very rubbery. You know, they literally look like toys. I guess except Mangle. I'd say Mangle's probably the scariest. But if you're getting jump scared by Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica,
Ooh, I'm about to dive in.
there's not really a big sense of fear there. I mean, I guess for Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy's a pretty big dude, especially when he's sitting on your chair or on your desk. But the animatronics, they're not very scary. I think personally though, my favorite mechanic in the entire game that draws me to it so well is, you know, you're stuck at the desk, you put the mask on, and the animatronics actually come up close to you. And that's horrifying. Seeing Withered Bonnie standing like 7 feet tall right in front of you. Withered Chica with her arms out. But I feel like over time, the more you play this game, you're not too worried about getting jump scared, especially in the harder nights. I feel like you have a good sense of control throughout the entire night, so you don't have to worry about these things. I guess you can say that with most Final Fantasy games. I feel like the more you play them and the more, you know, you kind of expect when to get jump scared. And also, I think what Final Fantasy 2 does pretty bad, especially on the later nights, you have that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 hallway ambiance just blasting the entire time. It's scary at first, but then I feel like less is more in this situation. You have that ambiance going on, like literally throughout the entire night. You have the ambiance going. It's not really a horror thing anymore. It's kind of just background noise. So I think that's what it was for Final Fantasy 2 for me. It's just that you get so used to everything that's happening, it just gets less scary over time. So that's why I'm gonna put Five Nights at Freddy's 2 third from last. So at my number 4 spot, I believe I'm gonna put Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Final Fantasy 4, you're essentially living in the bite victim's mind, the bite of 83 kid's mind. Fuck, what's his name? He's this kid right here. Play the clip. Play the Markiplier clip.
Was that the bite of 87?
Essentially, you're kind of like asleep in a nightmare. The character designs for all the animatronics are amazing. The game's reliance on audio is the biggest mechanic that Scott Cawthon focused on when he was making Final Fantasy 4. That's why whenever you watch like a let's play of somebody playing Final Fantasy 4, which I will have coming up, there's not really a bunch of commentary that a person could be doing, because when you're walking up to the door, you have to listen. And if you're talking and yapping your ear off, you're not going to be able to hear when someone's at the door breathing down your neck ready to tickle your booty hole. I do love this game for that. One thing I will say though, I believe that you do feel like the most defenseless in this office. I guess it is the kid's bedroom, but you do feel like the most defenseless in this bedroom compared to any like the other starting offices in any of the other games, in my opinion. Take a look at Final Fantasy 1. These beautiful metallic doors. You have a camera system. Final Fantasy 2, you have a camera system and a mask. 3, you have a camera system and audio alerts. Like in Final Fantasy 4, you're literally just a little kid, probably no older than like 3rd or 4th grade, still colored with crayons. You probably never even signed your first like legal document, and you have to deal with Nightmare Freddy right behind you, ready to form and just go ham and cheese on you. So I think Final Fantasy 4, you do feel the most defenseless, but the game is very scary. Way scarier than Ultimate Custom Night, way scarier than Pizzeria Simulator. Not as scary as the other games so far. It is a great game. I love it. Final Fantasy 4 is going at number 5. I think I'm gonna put Sister Location next, honestly. And look, that might be a controversial take because Sister Location is very scary. Oh yeah, on my video about like the fun experience, I think I put Final Fantasy Sister Location at the number 2 spot. And I'm still gonna stand on that. I love Sister Location. It is a very scary game, but the reason I'm putting it at number 4 is not because it's not scary, but you got hard hitters like Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 3. I feel like the environment in those games, it just hits a little bit harder than Sister Location. Character design and Sister Location are very nice. They're very modern. You know, from a service level, they kind of do look like toy animatronics, but you look at the blueprints, you look at the jump scares that all the animatronics are giving to you. They are built to kill you. The Sister Location animatronics are built to bend you over the edge of your bed. Like they're gonna give it to you. I think it is a very scary game, and I think what really brings Sister Location out is, compared to every other Final Fantasy game, Sister Location has the least familiarity. And what I mean by that is, every single night that you play in Sister Location is completely different. I mean, you have the same basic start of every night, you know, you go down the elevator, and then you go somewhere else to like do something, right? But I like how Sister Location actually throws you in a new environment on each night, and it kind of eliminates that familiarity factor. There is no standard office design. Every single night feels different, and what I believe true horror is fear of the unknown. That's why Final Fantasy Sister Location is going to be going at number 4. All right, and then at my number 3 spot, this might be a controversial take, but I'm gonna put Five Nights at Freddy's
1.
I personally, I'm gonna be honest, I thought that Final Fantasy 1 was gonna be number 1 when I was thinking about making the video on my bed. But after long consideration, I don't know. The thing I truly do love about Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I'd say how realistic it feels. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 was created in Scott Cawthon's mind as a standalone game. I don't know if he believed he was going to do any sequels or anything, because it just blew up out of nowhere. So it seemed like the most realistic game out of the bunch. I like how Scott Cawthon used environmental storytelling while using like the wall clippings to like explain how like some dude like kidnapped some children and they gone missing and the whole place is getting shut down because of a big lawsuit. Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is the best Five Nights at Freddy's when it comes to environment and ambiance, in my opinion. When you're sitting in that office at Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you literally just hear that fan, you have like the light flickering, and then you check the cameras. That's like true horror. Realistically, it's probably the first Five Nights at Freddy's game that anybody plays, and you get really engulfed into this environment. I mean, Scott Cawthon really did a great job making the player feel like they're actually in the office and they can't move anywhere. I love the door mechanics. I love checking on Foxy. I love the character designs. Like, look, I got Bonnie here. Bonnie's a great guy. I'm not gonna say Bonnie's not a great guy. Scott Cawthon said that he believed that Bonnie was the scariest animatronic he's made at the time of his creation. He's had nightmares about Bonnie. That's a fun fact. I don't think Bonnie is the scariest animatronic of the bunch. I'm gonna probably just give that one to Freddy. I think Freddy's like core game mechanics as well. Freddy's jump scare when he gets into your office, one of the scariest jump scares in all of Five Nights at Freddy's because of how quiet he is. You don't even know he sneaks into your office until you're done. But yeah, that's why I'm playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1 at number 3. It's a very great game, and I feel like it's the most realistic Five Nights at Freddy's, and I get really engulfed into it. So, all right, now we're on to the final two. We have Help Wanted and Five Nights at Freddy's 3 for the last 2 games. Let me know what you guys think so far in the comments, and also can we hit 50 likes, and comment down what videos you guys want me to post, because I'm not gonna say I'm running out of ideas because I literally kind of just started creating for real, but I would love to hear what you guys have to say and what videos I should make. So 50 likes, let's do it. Going on to number 2 of these games, I'm gonna be putting, oh fuck, I'm putting, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is going at number 2. Okay, like, look, so, like, in my opinion, look, the environment is amazing. You're in a horror attraction. I feel like the realism of actually being in a horror attraction is very scary. I'm gonna say the main reason why Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is not number 1 is literally just because of Springtrap. Not his character design. Springtrap is probably the best designed animatronic in all Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's not what his design is. Okay, Bonnie, you gave me straight teeth down here. Calm down. It's definitely his jump scare. He has the weakest jump scare in all of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think all the fandoms have way better jump scares than Springtrap does. Balloon Boy's jump scare is amazing. Foxy's jump scare is you know, phenomenal. I'd even say that the puppet's jump scare in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is better than Springtrap's jump scare. It's just so lackluster, and having all of that build up defending against one animatronic realistically, because the fandoms, they aren't really real. They aren't real. They're hallucinations. But you're trying to defend yourself against one guy, and then when he finally gets you, he doesn't do shit. He just looks at you. So yeah, I mean, if the jump scare was amazing, it definitely would be number 1. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 is at number 2. And at my number 1 spot, I guess you could say it's probably a cop-out. I'm gonna be completely honest, it kind of is. I'm gonna be putting Help Wanted there. I'm sure you guys have all seen gameplay of Help Wanted. I could also say that a lot of you guys have actually played Help Wanted personally. Looking back on some gameplay of Help Wanted, the jump scares, they really aren't all that, right? They're like 3D modeled. They kind of look a bit choppy. It's not exactly the jump scares that make the game, but it's being engulfed into the environment. You guys know that one game? I forgot what it's called, but it's literally just put a VR headset on and you're just walking on a plank that's hella high. That shit's scary. You know why it's scary? If you do that on a PC, you're not gonna feel anything. You're actually in the environment and you feel like you're in the location. So that takes me to Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. You gotta play Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Just having that as a factor where you're actually touching the buttons and you're looking around, in my opinion, that's like way scarier than any like actual computer, desktop, or console game. Scariest part about Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted is definitely, I'd say, the parts and service stuff. You're actually repairing the animatronics. Yeah, Help Wanted is gonna have to go at number 1. I'm sorry. I'm sure a bunch of you guys saw it coming. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of is a cop-out, but like, nigga, who's gonna stop me? It's my channel. That was pretty much the video. I'm back to making more consistent uploads. I was on vacation, so thank you guys for letting me have some time myself. I uploaded a little vlog. I would love if you guys could check it out. It's just me in Japan. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm excited to make some more videos for you guys. I have a lot of stuff planned, and it's gonna be cool. So my name's Khalist. Like, comment, subscribe, text me on Instagram what your social security number is, do all that stuff. And I'll make sure to catch you guys later. Don't forget it. Peace.